Hey everyone, Samantha McLean from Elite Agent Magazine, and it's 2 weeks to go to ARIC 16. Every winner was once a beginner. Don't build a billboard in a forest. Never let a bad day feel like a bad year. And there are no blind dates in real estate. Yes, folks, this week's coaching session for the Super Six was with none other than one of the industry's favourite coaches, Tom Panos. Tom had some social media advice for the Super Six, plus a few of the usual home truths we've come to expect from this guy that we know and love. Here are the highlights.
We live in a world of consumerism, and consumerism basically says, make it easy for me to say yes. That's what consumerism is. Agent 1.0 in the old days was, I have the information and I can control that information, so you have to believe me. Agent, what I call 3.0 now, is the consumer has the information and they know as much as the agent. So a new book's coming out on May 22nd, which is just being finalised. It's called There Are No More Blind Dates in Real Estate. And I love that term because I actually think to myself, consumers know more about you than you know about them. Now, there's social proof who actually sells the most amount of real estate, and it's done with the press of a button. In the old days, it used to be done by people following signboards, but today, people can actually go onto the realestate.com site under the Just Sold section and can tell who sold what for how much in an instant. But what I think is the most important thing that you can do is concentrate on your personal brand. I've got to tell you, one of my strategic goals, it has been from the first day I worked in publishing, was it's Tom Panos Pty Ltd. So the truth is, the reason I've got so many people on my database and the reason I've got so many profiles, it's not an accident. This has been a set down strategy from day one that you've got to understand, you've got to be the CEO of your own brand. And I just want to show you, with brand, your brand is made up of three things. You've got what I call the traditional, the digital, and the social. And the traditional brand is signboards. That's traditional. Letterbox drops. That's traditional. Your local newspaper, traditional. All these things are touch points that are telling people in the area that you are in real estate. That was the game for the last 20 years. Then Google changed it. Google came along and they created what I call now, so you've got traditional, and every footprint has got what I call a traditional interview. So you got, when they're interviewing, they interview you traditionally, then they do the digital interview, which Steve Carroll would have spoke about at REA. But I have just got to tell you, the most important thing that you've got to do to win the digital interview is have a kick-ass video. And when I say a kick-ass video, I'm talking about a video that is done by a company that is so seductive to a consumer that the person says, because look, we did a session this morning. We had a person that wrote $6 million in fees, and Delene Lewis, who writes roughly, about half that. And they said they don't sell hard because their pre-list stuff does that for them. They said that this morning at a training event that I was interviewing them at. The video does the selling. So just picture this incredible video that is sent out before you go to the listing appointment, where for 60 seconds, they just hear about what you do and how you do it. So if you haven't done it, I would turn around and I would look at Gavin Rubinstein's pre-list video. So Gav Rubinstein's one of my clients. Now, 27 years of age, that writes $2.5 million in gross commission income. Success leaves clues, right? Success leaves clues. Is that we pretty much know if you Google your name and the words real estate, 99% of the times your realestate.com profile comes up. So it pretty much says that that'll be the first thing the consumer's going to look at. Man, it is so easy to complete your agent profile. If you haven't done it, stock standard easy. I do realize that there can be sometimes some franchise restrictions that, you know, prohibit you to get it done better than some other people that don't have those restrictions, but you got to get on top of that. That's a 20-minute job, by the way, to do your profile, easy. I'm also, and franchisors hate me saying it, but I've got to tell you, I'm a big believer in agents having personal websites. And the truth is that if you're running your own personal brand, you should have in one area where all the information's there. All your just solds, all your just listeds, your testimonials, your integration of your social media, your video. Because this integrated mobile-friendly site actually helps you in SEO, but it also means that you have control, because when you send something out to a prospective vendor, they're getting the URL that you send them, which should be your name. So what's your full name?
Ben Munro Smith.
benmunrosmith.com.au if it's available. That should be it. Now I can pretty much tell you, you can get this all made up for about $2 to $3 grand. These things here, so easy now. WordPress sites, simple, you know, but cheap. So, personal website, mobile friendly, everything including a rock star video. That's how to win the digital interview. Social interview. Social interview is about what people say about you when you're not there. In the past, it used to happen where they used to talk about it over the back of fences. They used to talk about it at cafes. They used to talk about it at football practice. Now, what we're seeing increasingly is that this chatter between friends seems to happen between social media messages that are both on timelines and private messages. So all of a sudden, social becomes important. One of my clients, 140 sales, $1 million agent from St. Mary's. I was talking to him yesterday and he said to me, Tom, I'm off to a listing presentation. I said, Peter, where'd you get it from? He said, mate, Facebook. I said, explain to me. He said, mate, exactly what you've taught us in Real Estate Gym. Get a vendor to put a message that you've just sold their house and they were happy with you and get them to tag you. That process alone has told all their friends that Peter is a great real estate agent. That process, when they tag you, tells all your friends and all your likes that you're a great real estate agent. What we're seeing now is that you've got a traditional footprint, a digital footprint, and a social footprint. And one of your jobs as an agent is to control this. Marketing is about getting noticed. Sales is about closing. Remember that concept. You won't be sitting at a table closing a listing if you don't get noticed to be at the table. And this is very important to understand because I'd like you to know that one of your jobs in real estate is to be doing everything you can to be getting called out. So you guys right now, in the stage of your life, I've got to tell you, just hustle. Just chase, 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 just chase, chase, chase. And what I mean by that, call people. Hey, now let's do an analysis of that phone call. I find out what price he wants, $800 to $900, because I've been sounding him out. I find out why has he called me at this time, because what I want to find out is this. Is he an immediate seller appointment or is he a future seller appointment? An immediate seller appointment means it's game on. He's selling. I've got to go in there and do a listing presentation. And I have to beat other agents to this listing presentation. If it's an FSA, that's a future seller appointment. I'm going in there, I'm building a relationship, he's going into my database and I stay in contact with him. We are not trying to go through the marketing here. We are just building a relationship and giving an idea of value. Make sense? Like, what doesn't he like? Auction. Yep, sold on the day. I found out who he owns the property with. All these things, I found out who else has he called out. I've got to tell you, what have I done? Question-based. What have I done? I've done what a doctor does. Diagnose, then prescribe. Too many real estate agents go and prescribe without diagnosing. But the most powerful thing I've done of all is I have used the power of consumerism. and I've said, don't worry about what I'm going to say. Listen to the last 20 people that have sold with us. And I am so backing myself, I'm giving you their details. That's the power. The power is not what you say to the market, it's what the market says to the market. We see that all the time. We see people make decisions about where they holiday, not based on what a company like the Hilton says, but what another consumer says on TripAdvisor.
So I hope you enjoyed some of the tips there from Tom Panos. Speaking of no blind dates in real estate, that is actually the name of Tom's new book, which will be launched at AREC 16. And if you are there, you can get your free copy from the News Limited Cafe. Next week is the last week of Transform with one of Australia's top agents, James Tostivan, and November 15 elite agent cover star, Kate Strickland. These two agents will be wrapping up Transform from realestate.com.au headquarters in Melbourne, and they will be talking to the Super Six about how to ensure you have customers for life. Remember, if you have any questions for our coaches or our Super Six, tweet us at EliteAgentMag, #Transform. See you soon.